Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today guys we are starting up with Langgraph. So this is the lecture number 8 in our playlist and the playlist is going quite smooth, I believe. Probably one of the best playlists on my YouTube channel. Till now we have covered 7 lectures and pretty much guys a lot of stuff is covered, right? In order to create workflows, you guys are pretty much good. But now guys let's move to Langgraph. So guys, what is Langgraph? Let's just write it again. Langgraph. So guys, let's not go about any fancy definitions, anything that's fancy. Let's just stick to the basics. It is nothing but it is a Python package. Okay, what would it help us do? It's gonna help us create agents. Okay, but weren't we just creating agents without Langgraph? Yes, but this will help us create agents in the form of graphs. Okay, now the question is, what are graphs? So essentially guys, graphs are nothing, it's just schema, not exactly schema, but kind of schema based representation like. So I'll be explaining what is the back end of it, but yeah, so this is it guys, simple. It's just a library that we'll be using. It's going to help us create agents, that's it. Now let's move down a bit and try to understand a little more about what we are doing on lecture number 1 and what is this graph. So guys, see, graph is nothing. Okay, let's say you have a user is gonna come and give a query. Now that query would be sent to an LLM. Now an LLM has an access to tool, and probably once the output is received it can end as well. But here the thing is, firstly we'll be passing back the tool's output to the LLM as well. And guys, this representation is sort of graph only. Okay, in simple terms this is a sort of graph only, right? Now before we start and see some code and stuff, you need to understand few things when it comes to Langgraph. One is state, another one is nodes, and another one is edges. And guys, see, sometimes these things look little abstract, but the moment you get into the code, have a look at the documentation and probably start implementing stuff, slowly things would become simple. So what is state? So guys, state is nothing but it's an input schema of your node. Now what is node? Trust me guys, it's very easy. Node is nothing, it's a Python function. Now the next question is, what is edges? Nothing guys, it's just edges connect node. This much knowledge is enough in order to get started on day 1. Create your very first agent which would follow some sort of React infrastructure. Everything will be covered from scratch. So let's just move down and try to understand the code line by line, and even if it's not clear, I'll even come back to the board and make you understand everything. So guys, see, first of all, what we are trying to build today. We have a starting point. Okay, now here is our LLM. Now user comes, throws in query at an LLM. Now LLM has an access to tool. He or she is going to use this tool, and based on the output, give me an output in an iterative fashion. See, let the model call the specific tool. Okay, so we have a model. Now it can call a specific tool. Right now we have a tool and we have defined tools many times, guys. It's simple, it's just Python function. So tool, the LLM will call a tool. That means it's acting. Observe, pass the output back to the model. Okay, it's gonna pass the output back to the model. Let the model reason about the tool output and decide what's next to do. Call another tool or just directly respond. Okay guys, for this example we are using just one tool only, so it makes no sense to have an iterative call of tools. Everything will be covered, just wait and watch. But for now we are having just one tool, and after that it will end. So what will happen, user will come, write a query, your LLM will invoke a tool, decide whether it needs to invoke a tool or not. This tool's output would be passed to the LLM. He or she is going to make a call that whether I need to invoke another tool or not. For our case we have just one tool, so we don't need to worry, and then an end response. That's it, guys. This is essentially known as React agentic architecture, in which first you are making the LLM call specific tools, then it is observing, and then essentially it's reasoning. So let's just try to see on the coding line. So guys, first line, reserved for imports, you can see it. Now guys, this code we've been writing in all lectures, so I'm skipping this one. Okay, it's nothing, we're just setting up the LLM, right? We are using load env, so that my env is connected over here. Here I'm using Gemini because Gemini is one of the leading LLMs, and in context of free API credits, guys, that's why I'm using Gemini, so that all of you can do hands-on. Otherwise, when it comes to API credits, I usually have some purchase some Claude credit, because essentially Sonnet 3.5 is my favorite model, so I just use that. So now the next thing is define a tool. So guys, see what is a tool. Let's just move back to my board. So what is a tool, right? Guys, tool is nothing, it's just a Python function, nothing else. Okay, it's just a Python function and nothing else. It's just a simple Python function which we have been writing. Okay, I think I stopped sharing. Sorry. Let's just, okay, I think I'm sharing only here. So Python function, guys, we've been doing this like define Python function. We've been doing this for long, right? And return whatever you want to return. Now this is probably okay. We've been doing this for every time. Now whenever guys you're creating tool, always keep few things in mind, right? This is how you create Python functions. I'm going to not tell you how to do that, but always when whatever input is there, right, define a schema for it. Secondly, write proper docstring. Thirdly, properly define the output argument. All this becomes very important because this is used in the internal working of Langgraph to decide whether I need to call a particular agent and what needs to be passed to that particular agent in order to make it work. All this is abstract, guys. You won't be coding it, but you need to understand it. So whenever you're defining a Python function in general also, it's a best practice to keep these points in mind. But here it becomes a necessity that you have to define an input schema, you have to define a docstring, as well as you need to define an output argument. Otherwise guys, how will the infrastructure or the orchestrator work in backend, right? Some magic is happening in backend, but for that magic also to happen, we need to give it some context, which is nothing but our input schema, our docstring, and our output argument. So let's just move to here. Now we are defining a tool. So guys, we are defining a simple tool. Okay, I showed you earlier as well. This is a tool that I'm directly using from LangChain. This is their Wikipedia query run, and this is the maximum character limit I have set, so that, I mean, you can do whatever you want over here, so that you just are not like fetching the entire page, but you can do like you can increase the length. So it's a simple Wikipedia tool, and I'm just defining the Wikipedia tool. So it's going to take an argument query, which is of string. It's going to give me output in the format of string. This is the doc string, goes to Wikipedia and searches for the query to search for, and results, which it's gonna get me once I get results back from Wikipedia and Wikipedia query run. This is the API wrapper. That's pretty much it, guys. And we are just running the query. So here, guys, what I'm using a Wikipedia tool. Did I code it myself? No. How I'm using via LangChain. So this is where these Python packages become very important. Otherwise, guys, I'll have to explore how to use Wikipedia API, do a lot of stuff, and it makes no sense. If someone has done it, just use it, right? A lot of, if you even if you look to a lot of great tech startups which are specifically doing exceptional in space of generative AI and AI, they're not building up stuff from scratch. They're using what's already built and adding a layer of AI to it. Just look at cursor, right? I don't see a lot of people using VS Code, and this sentiment is very common, right? So even I'm using cursor. As I said, I don't have a lot of time. In order to make my coding faster, either I become exceptional at coding, which is kind of not possible now. So the next thing is use cursor. So that's the best part, guys. Be a little smart and choose the right tools. So you have a Wikipedia tool. So that's how you have defined a Wikipedia tool. It's simple, not very difficult, simple code. Everything is taken from LangChain's documentation, and just this is the main thing, wikipedia.run query. Once you run it, you're going to get the results from Wikipedia. That's it. Now we need to bind an LLM to the tool. So guys, see, let me move to the board. Code wise, it's nothing, right? You're able to see it's just llm.bind tool. So we're just binding tools. So guys, see, right now mostly I have shown you this in my earlier lecture as well, but this is the first lecture of Langgraph, so I'm showing it again. We have an LLM, and here I have a tool. Now I need to make sure that my LLM has an access to this tool so that it can decide when and how I need to call the tool. Okay guys, this is very important. So that's why we are binding it. Okay, now this is done. And nothing Langgraph has been done till now, right? We haven't done anything Langgraph. This has all been taught. I'll just show you the readme file. So tool calling was taught in lecture number 4 only. That's pretty much it what we have been doing till now. Now comes some part of Langgraph, the first import from Langgraph.graph import message state, and from core messages import system message. So first of all guys, as I said, the first thing whenever you're trying to create a Langgraph based architecture, try to keep in mind you need to define the state. Now what is state? Don't go by these fancy terms guys. State is nothing but in simple terms it's just the input schema that you need to define. The next thing is messages. So we are talking about messages. So guys, we are using LangChain. Okay, so LangChain has 4 types of messages. Okay, now what are those? Human message, that's exactly what I'm gonna query, or the user is gonna query. Then what is the second type of message? That is the AI message. Guys, I think you know, right? AI is gonna respond it with something. That's the AI message. Now what is the third thing guys? Third thing is nothing but it's tool message. And fourth thing guys, which is very important, is the system message. So guys, here I'm able to see that my battery of my laptop is about to die and I don't want to take a risk. So I'm going to pause my video a bit and just connect to the charger once. Sorry guys, all these things happen, but yeah. So now we have human message, we have AI message, we have tool message, we have system message. So human message, you know guys, human message is nothing. What is the human querying? AI is nothing, the message that I'm going to get from LLM. What is the tool message? Very important guys. Whenever we use a tool, some tool message is also created. And what is tool guys? It's nothing, it's a Python function. Now what is system message? So guys, system message is very common, right? It's gonna help you define the behavior of the LLM at a highest level. So that's probably it. So guys, here also we are importing those same things. Okay, we are importing same things. These two imports are clear. Now guys, I'm setting up a system message. You are a helpful assistant that helps answer question about the world using Wikipedia tool. Given the user query, break it down into a Wikipedia keyword and use it in the Wikipedia tool to get the answer. Now tell me guys, this is basic prompt, right? I need to break down the user query so that it can be like made into a concise form so that it could run via the Wikipedia tool, and wikipedia.run, the query is going to run. The next thing is guys, we are defining nodes. So guys, see, what happens in LangChain is that you need to define a node. So this is the main thing. That's these nodes are what? Nodes are Python functions. So these are the things that are going to act. So we are defining a node, calling it an assistant. So state is of the data type message state, then return messages LLM with tools invoke system message plus state messages. So let me tell you what is happening over here. So guys, see, we are doing nothing. It's simple. We are using dot invoke method. So let me just write it properly. We are using dot invoke method essentially when on combination of two things. What are those? Those are system message plus the user message, guys. Okay, and user message is nothing based on LangChain, it is human message. This is what this code is doing. This is just a simple Python function, guys, nothing else. It's just messages. So this is gonna be returning what? This is gonna be it returning a sort of a dictionary, you could say, messages. And what it's gonna do, see inside the list LLM with tools. So we have a LLM, we have binded it with the tool dot invoke the bracket open system message plus state messages. So guys, see, whatever will be the input to your agent, right, that would be put inside this state messages, and that would get concatenated with your LLM tools, and it's gonna run. Now let's move ahead and try to see the main portion of Langgraph. So these are necessary imports. As and when they'll occur, we'll see. So guys, as and when you need to create a graph, you need to start with this line first. Builder is equal to state graph message state. Now what is this message state, guys? See, this is the message state. Okay, this is the message state. This is the data type which who has given me Langgraph, and I'm just using it. Why do I need a data type? Because guys, every time a graph, whenever, let me take you to the board right away. So always remember this, whenever you want to create a Langgraph graph, you need to start with the state. And state is nothing, guys. State is just input schema. And what is the input schema? Input schema is message state. Who has written this message state input schema, guys? LangChain or Langgraph. Okay, now you will say, sir, how do you know this to use? I have attached link to the documentation as well from where I'm using the code. That's it, guys. But guys, I'm not copy pasting the code. I'm using my everything is my own only in terms of example based. There was no Wikipedia tool, I created myself. Now guys, see, we need to create, we need to initialize the graph, then we need to create nodes. So what are nodes? Nodes are the Python functions which are going to do your tasks. So we have created an assistant node. What it's going to do, it's going to just, see guys, this is it, LLM with tools.invoke. Then add node, we are adding one more node, tool node, guys, very important, we are adding this tool node. So this was the assistant node, now we are adding a tool node. Now the assistant is going to essentially decide that whether I need to invoke a tool or I need to end the message, and the tool is going to come back. See, builder.add edge tools assistant, so this is going to come back to it, and the assistant will say that do I need to invoke more tools or do I need to end. Okay, so we've done till here. Now we have understood these two things. Now what are edges? So guys, see, edges are nothing, we are here. So guys, see, nodes are what? Nodes are Python function. So guys, we need to connect these things, right? We need to connect these things. For connecting these things, we need edges. And guys, edges are essentially, for today's lecture, just understand, right? One is the normal edge, and the second one is, guys, conditional edge. So here we are using conditional edge because that's what you'd be using in real life applications as well, a conditional edge. So you'll be essentially using a conditional edge which would have your assistant. What is this assistant, guys? Assistant, and then your tools condition. What is the tools condition, guys? Your tools condition is nothing but the tools that you have defined. See, from here you are importing this. So this is how you are connecting your assistant with tools, and these tools are nothing but the ones Python functions that you have written, and now you're adding builder.add edge tools assistant, so your tools also get connected to assistant. So guys, see, you are having a start. Okay, now you are adding a edge. That means your start to assistant, you have added a edge. This line of code does this. Then you are adding a conditional edge. So you are adding, see, these dotted lines are nothing but conditional edge. So one is assistant and another is tools condition. So then what you're doing? Then you're doing tools back to assistant. See, from tools to assistant, you are adding a edge and then you are combining a graph. And obviously in the end is there, right? It's by default. So guys, now sometimes you will say that, sir, I don't understand this code fully. It's okay, you don't have to. Just take this code as base and whatever things you need to add, everything I'll be adding using this code only. And from where, this is not my code, right? I haven't written. I wish I had been so smart. All you need to do is, guys, go to this documentation link that I have attached and copy paste the code directly if you want to create something on those lines. And now once you've copy pasted, try to edit it and see it. And mostly I think for some time I'll use this code as base only, so that everything becomes very crystal clear, because sometimes on day one listening to nodes edges might be a little overwhelming. I understand that, but slowly you will get it. For now, just try to understand what is happening is, we have a start node and we are connecting it with our assistant node. Now assistant is nothing, assistant is LLM. Okay, is it purely LLM? No, it's LLM with tools, guys. Okay, LLM with tools, done. Now we are adding the conditional edge. So what is the conditional edge? The conditional edge is that either bro you end or go to tools. What are the tools condition? This is what is all import is given, tool condition. And then guys, we just need to compile it and then we just need to plot it in the form of mermaid. Okay, and guys, invoking it is super easy. You just need to invoke it. Okay, so it's saying react graph is not defined, so I think I need to run everything once again. So let's just do it. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So you're able to see, guys, how things are working. And on day one it might be a little overwhelming. I completely get that thought. And I mean, so this is the answer, so you can just like pretty print it as well. Let's just run this. So this is the answer. If you want to see it in a text editor, you can probably see. So this is the essay on India, and it has taken reference from Wikipedia. So if you'll see 55,000 years, 55,000 years. So guys, sometimes what happens, right? Why do we need such things? I'll explain you two things. One is business aspect and another is a little bit on Langgraphs and some other agentic frameworks. So guys, see, understand. First thing is, why Langgraph? So guys, here you were able to see that they have given you this snippet of code. Okay, this is their notebook. This is not my notebook. All you need to do is, if you wish to create an architecture, where user is going to ping you a query, you need to have LLM in between. LLM is going to take a call on the tool, and then tool is going to push you back the stuff which it got from output, and then the LLM is going to decide that, do I need to call the tool again or I need to end the conversation. Whenever something like this needs to be created, it's best to use, I mean, you could code this up. I have shown you in previous lectures how to code this up. In lecture 4 only I shown you how to code this up entirely. But now guys, we're using Langgraph. Now essentially, whenever you're creating a graph, three things you need to keep in mind: state, nodes. Nodes are nothing, guys, these are just Python functions. Edges, we need a way to connect them. That's it, guys. You have a snippet of code, just build on top of it. It's not very difficult, you will get it. And stay along with me in this playlist. I can guarantee you'll be able to master Langgraph. And guys, the second thing which no one tells you, and I'll tell you the reason also. See guys, views and everything are something that's secondary to me. Because guys, the main idea is that views are not going to probably make me win. There are other things which might make me win. But I'll be telling you very honest, guys. Till now, neither OpenAI, not Google, not Anthropic, not Microsoft Azure, not AWS have like or like taken a bet on any framework. I'm choosing Langgraph because I know LangChain a bit and I uh, it, and so it is very mature framework, right? It has good documentation. Because guys, there are some things which you might need to do at some time, and coding those things from scratch would might take about 400 to 500 lines of code. And then I mean, it won't be this much. I'm just talking in terms of spacing and proper all that thing. So that would account to, let's say, 300 to 400 lines of code. And here you were able to do it in such concise code using whatever notebook they have given. But guys, still, no one knows. So Anthropic has launched computer use. I have a video of it, but probably I think it's going to take a little more time to get mature on that tool. Then guys, you have Azure. So there is something known as Azure OpenAI agents, very newly launched. Probably will again take some time to get mature. Google must be having some other framework for agents. AWS must be having their own set of agents, and OpenAI has a framework called Swarm, and probably that's more on the Pythonic layer of things. Probably they would also have a better agentic stuff going up on inside. So it's not that you need to just know a framework in and out. What you would do by knowing that framework in and out? Until and unless, guys, you don't have a good business use case, which no one is going to tell you how to think, but I'm going to tell you why I'm using Wikipedia, right? Tomorrow, you build an agent which is going to give people information, okay, in an organization. Do you think without source it would get accepted? No. That is why I'm using a Wikipedia agent. So guys, whenever you're doing any project, right, try to know about its business use case as well. Try to know how it can be used, and all these things slowly we'll cover. Now we have started it. We have a code base for a lang graph given by them. We'll try to slowly build on this code only, and everything would be covered here only. And guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Very exciting times ahead, and have a great year.